Hi everybody, and thank you once again for joining us for this vidcast. Today we are privileged to be joined by the 2022 Channel 7 Young Achievers Award winner in the category of Community and Service, Jack Anderson. Welcome, Jack.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really appreciative to be here.
We're very glad that you could join us this morning as well, and it's great to see you again.
Thank you.
So, Jack, in the interest of explaining to our membership and to the others who will be watching this vidcast, could you explain to us what the 7 News Young Achievers Awards was all about and why you decided to get involved?
Of course. So I would have got involved back in 2021. So 2 years ago, my sister made me aware of the application and said, hey, I think I'd like to submit an application for you. And so we did. I didn't know particularly a whole lot about it, but at the time I was doing a lot of involvement in the community service area. And I was like, fantastic, I'm going to help my sister and we're going to submit this application. And so we did. And I didn't really know what to expect, but I managed to become a finalist for the awards night. And then I rocked up on the night and my whole perception of the 7 News Young Achievers Award changed. Because what I witnessed was 200, 300 people in a room, all young, inspiring individuals who were making such a difference in the West Australian community. They all came together to celebrate some really amazing work that everyone's doing in such a diverse group of areas. And from that moment on, it kind of just opened my mind up to what is possible in this world, because I thought I was doing a lot. And then you just see some other young people who are even 15, 16 years old, and they are just making such a big difference in this world. So got involved that first year, walked away completely inspired and changed a lot of the things that I was doing and started setting way more ambitious goals. And then the following year, I got nominated again and was fortunate enough to win the award for 2022.
Fantastic. So what has it meant for you? How has it changed you, Jack Anderson? But more importantly, how has it changed the business and the initiatives that you're currently undertaking?
Of course. So I think as context, I think a lot of what my application was based off in terms of the community service work that I've done was around 3 years ago, I founded an organization called ThrivEd, which is an organization started by university students. And what we do is we write high school textbooks. So for year 12 specifically, we write ATAR-based textbooks for things like chemistry, math, and physics. And then what we do is to make it equitable for all the kids across WA, particularly those from low socioeconomic schools. For every 2 textbooks that we sell, we donate a third one to a low socioeconomic school because a lot of those kids can't afford textbooks. So that was the initial kind of recognition, and the reason that I got nominated for that award is my work that I did in founding that organization and setting it up and helping kids across WA. And what it meant for me is I think a lot of people, particularly in the area of community service, they have a vision of what kind of change they want to make in the world. Yeah. And they go about it, they don't do it for any specific form of recognition. They do it because they love a certain cause. For me, I care about education, and that's my passion. And what that recognition did for me is it was a moment to reflect and say, hey, you've done a good job. You've worked for 3 years at this thing and you've made a positive difference. And whilst you weren't asking for any form of recognition, you were doing a good job and people respect you and appreciate you for that. So for me, it was a moment of confidence. I went from kind of just being this person who worked in silence and really just kind of chipped along and worked in the background to being this person that was like, wow, people really appreciate what I'm doing and we've got a message to share at ThrivEd and it's best to get it out to the world. So that's what it was for me. It was an opportunity to say, hey, I think it's time we share it with the world.
So you've obviously got a big vision. I mean, education is your passion and you've obviously got plenty of energy, which is quite evident from this conversation. What do you see as the impact of what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah.
And where do you see ThrivEd ending up?
Yes. So I think ThrivEd has such a strong ambition to make a difference in the education system. The ATAR system and everything that goes with it is by no means a perfect system. And I'm sure eventually in the years to come, it may adapt into something different to be more life skills based. But in the meantime, we're stuck with this system that is what it is. So I think the vision for ThrivEd and the goal for ThrivEd is to create textbooks that kids can kind of relate to, that they can enjoy. And as a result, it makes the process of year 11 and year 12, which is an extremely stressful period for a lot of people, including myself when I was in school, it makes it more enjoyable because they're working through resources and hopefully online content in the future that's written by young people and created by young people, and it's enjoyable and it's fun and people can engage with it. So that's the goal. I think across a lot of the subjects, particularly in STEM, where they're very, very difficult and very strenuous subjects, I think the goal is to create resources that kids actually enjoy and have equitable access to, so that every kid in Western Australia, and maybe in Australia, even in Australia, has an equal opportunity to do well at school and go on to achieve the things that they want to achieve.
Fantastic. So you're only one person, Jack.
Yes.
So how are you actually going to deliver this?
Of course, yes. So I am definitely not alone in all of this, just as no leader is in their ambitions to make a big difference in the world. So at the moment, ThrivEd's got about 20, 25 volunteers that are all working on these textbooks and making these high quality resources and trying to make a tangible difference. So I think my vision and my purpose in ThrivEd has shifted from being a writer to being someone who is recruiting and who is getting more university students and young people involved in this great organization so that they may come up with the ideas that can actually revolutionize the education system. Because I've only got a certain set of ideas and I don't know everything and I never will. So the important thing is having as many people come together to make a difference in our education system. And if in 3 years' time, we've got 200 volunteers, 200 writers, 200 people working on an online education platform, that would just be so much more than what I could do on my own. So that's where my head's at and that's what we're focused on.
Okay, so at the moment it's about writing and developing certain textbooks for certain subjects, but it appears that longer term it's about being able to promote that on a worldwide scale in terms of going online, having a website available, having access to that, etc. So what are we talking about in terms of what sort of time frame do you see with this thing actually happening?
I think when any ambitious person starts out with a vision, they have no idea what it's going to become. You start out with a small idea to make a difference in education, such as writing textbooks. And then everything that eventuates after that happens spontaneously, it happens naturally, and it's on no timeline. So whilst we have intermediate goals in terms of, hey, we want to have 10 textbooks in all of the STEM subjects within the next 3 or 4 years, we've got that tangible goal. This is a lifelong dedication for me, not necessarily in the context of formal education, but also in life education. And I think for ThrivEd specifically, the goal is to create it as a sustainable organization so that we may exist for many, many years to come. And in terms of the scale of impact and in terms of what we're going to accomplish, the sky's really the limit. And it really just depends on the people that we have within the organization in terms of how far they're going to take it. We have an initial conception, we have short-term goals, but for the long term, honestly, who knows? I really hope that one day we can be that worldwide presence that the education system across the world needs at the moment.
Wow, a big vision.
Big
vision. So textbooks, education, but just listening to you, there's obviously more in store, I would think, for ThrivEd. Are there any other initiatives or frontiers or projects you've got underway at the moment?
Yeah, so I think I'm in a very incubative phase in my life where I'm 22 and I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I want to do and what the end goal is. What is the end impact that I want to have? I grew up in a formal education sense where I understood the importance of education. I gave it my best crack. But then as soon as I left school, I realized that the thing that was 10 times more important is your life education. How do you go about managing this thing that you live with every single day, which is your own head? And I think in the current state of the world where we've got social media addiction, depression and anxiety on the skyrocketing, it's really concerning, and it would be ignorant of me to ignore the fact that, hey, maybe I need to contribute to this thing that is just taking the world by storm in the most negative way possible. So when I left school, there was a lot of lessons that I learned in terms of how to go about fixing my own brain and my own outlook towards life and getting on the right path and figuring out what I want to do. So whilst formal education and fixing that is my first ambition, my second and equally important ambition is making a difference in the lives of people, teaching them the key life skills that they need to be able to reach the dreams that they want to do the things that they love, to have the skills to do whatever it is that they want in life, and to operate from a place where they're mentally sound and that they have a great appreciation for their life. Because I think that's, once you leave school, that becomes the most important thing in the happiness that you have in your life.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I guess as we've spoken about previously, Freemasonry offers that same opportunity for men who perhaps are a little bit more mature and have already passed through the education process. But certainly that education early on provides a great roadmap for people to be able to navigate this thing called life, which we never learn at school. And having organisations such as yourself focus on that to be able to break it down into an easy, simple process would be very welcome by a lot of people, I'm sure. So we wish you the very best in that, but certainly ThrivEd certainly is providing an enormous amount of work and an enormous amount of positive contribution to the lives of young people. And I guess it's only through these initiatives like the 7 News Young Achiever Awards that we actually get to meet people like yourself, young West Australians who have got big visions and are actually doing something about it. So we wish you nothing but success, and however we can assist you in any way, the offer is always there for you, Jack. So thank you very much for taking the opportunity. The 7 News Young Achiever Awards are an initiative which the Masonic Foundation have been supporting, and young achievers like Jack are the reason why we continually wish to be involved, because it allows us to be able to tap into the youth of our state and to be able to assist and inspire them to be able to go and realise their dreams and ambitions. So thank you very much for coming in this morning, Jack. We really do appreciate it. And once again, we wish you success, and we are very excited to be a part of ThrivEd.
Thank you. Thanks,
You're very
Danny.
welcome. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.